He wrote this in The Art of Being. He said, spiritual perfection is an inherent part of each of us. It is never diminished by conditions. With an awareness of this truth comes the wholeness of spirit that enables us to accept the moment as perfect, just the way it is, knowing that nothing is ever missing in God's presence. So our uniqueness brings value to this whole. There's a story about a water bearer in India. She had two pots, and you might have heard this story. But one pot was whole and perfect, and the other pot had a crack in it. And every day she went down to the water and she filled both pots. And every day she walked back to the mistress' house. And when she arrived, the full pot delivered a full pot of water. The cracked pot only delivered half the pot of water. So pretty soon, on another trip, the cracked pot felt so ashamed that it talked to the mistress and said, I'm so sorry that I'm not perfect like the whole pot, and you have to work so hard, and you only get to deliver half the water. And she said, did you ever notice when we walk up the path that the flowers on your side are blooming? There are no flowers on the other side. And what she said is, I noticed your crack and your flaw early on, and I planted seeds. So every day when you're walking up, we're walking up the path, you are watering these flowers. And I get to collect these and put them on the table, and they're beautiful, and they bring love and joy to everybody in the house. So I tell you that story because that's the way I want you to look, or encourage you to look at everybody, because there are some of us who are cracked pots. And it's okay because we have a purpose. We bring something to the picture. We enhance things. We bring a beauty. Our uniqueness brings value to the whole. So each of us has our own unique flaws, and I encourage you to look at each one of us as a unique expression of the divine. If you truly believe in Namaste means that God in me sees the God in you, you will not see a crocked pot. So I want to just touch on forgiveness, because sometimes forgiveness is what it takes to welcome people back into the community. Some people in this community may have left because they felt unwelcome. And so I invite you to look at that. I invite you to look at what gave rise to that. And then I ask you about forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is not about forgetting, because we don't forget. It's embedded in our memories. And it's not about condoning, because you don't have to condone action. But it is not getting on your high horse and saying, oh, I forgive you, you lucky, right? It's not about that. It is one of the highest forms of self-love. Because when you forgive, you let go of that baggage and you take your power back. You know, there's a story that resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. Many people practice that. Forgiveness is being willing to get unstuck and out of the quicksand. Forgiveness is freeing yourself to get back to the higher agenda of your life. So I want to start bringing this to a close. We belong to each other because of our oneness and our spiritual DNA. And because of our awareness of this truth, we have an ethical responsibility to be in conscious connection with all of life and thought, word, and deed. To belong means existing as part of something. So what if the idea of belonging centers itself in that realm of deepening sense of longing to be? What if we come to belong to one another is not a declaration that is bestowed upon us, but instead it flows from the depths of our being. Our calling is to deepen our connection with one another now. When welcoming others, we extend ourselves to do the work of justice, peace, and compassion in the world. The divine community is established upon the rock of love. When we are at home, we belong to one another, and we are companions to each other on this journey of life, supporting one another as we walk. Perhaps our cries for belonging can be answered in 2 words: live loud, welcome home. Namaste.
Namaste.
Let us pray. Let us pray. We just invite you to close your eyes and go within. There is this one divine life. It is God's life. It is my life now. I know the same truth for each and every one within the sound of my voice. That this life is God. This life is good. This life is wholeness and perfect. So I just surrender my ego into the nothingness from which it arose, knowing that it is all appearances, and that my choice and my truth of life is to know my oneness with God and my oneness with each one of you, for I know that we are all manifestations of God. So I know and bless each and every person in this room today. I bless each person within the sound of my voice. I bless each member of the band for the beautiful music that supports this talk and opens up our hearts so that we can hear. And I support all the people who continue to support with their finances this beautiful church so that we can continue the services and that we can grow and that we no longer be the best secret in Vallejo. So I know all of this is the truth. All of this is a vision which I hold dear. And I anchor this prayer in the universe by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
So now I'd like to share the affirmation. You can read it on there. Why don't we all say it together? I am a presence of divine love wherever I am. How about one more time? I am a presence of divine love wherever I am. Thank you.
This is a song that our former music director, Lee Winfield, wrote. Some of you may know it was on a CD that was put out several years ago. It's Altered.
faith, and it is already here. So now's our time for prosperity affirmation. So if you have a gift to give, please take it out. Now, as Alex said, we're going to ask you to drop these in that orange bucket there by the hat rack, or coat rack, on the door on the way out. But for now, take the gift and hold it over your heart and recite these words on the screen. Divine law consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. Is it evidence of my conviction that God is the source and the substance of my supply? I release my gift, knowing that it returns to me, multiplied abundantly, and so it does.
It needs to make it comfortable. We do the best we can. Hi. Green, green, green.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
I am so delighted to see everybody joining in that peace song and grabbing hands. So before I give the benediction, I wanted to suggest that if you haven't been in the bookstore, that you might want to go in and just look it over. We're not ready to sell anything, but there are these Science of Mind magazines for next month, which is next Sunday. And we have a guest speaker next Sunday, Reverend Catherine Career. So she has got it played and here in the Bay Area. So pick this up, pick yourselves up, and join me in this benediction. That there is one of us. We go with love, we go with God, we go with each other. We are not walking this journey alone, that we have the divine with us and we have each other, and we celebrate that. We celebrate this day and every day forward. And so it is.
So it is.
Quick announcement, as you leave, please put your badges, I'll hang mine up on this screen, that way you'll have them when you come back next time.
Just so that everyone hears that, as you leave, the badges that you have, you can put them in the back there for everybody next week. And don't take the 6 o'clock.
They're better every week.
I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. We're gonna let it shine. We're gonna light a God. We're gonna let it shine. We've got the light of God. We're gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it
Happy to see you. Yeah. How are you? Yeah, well, not since we were ready to leave.
Yes.